Hi, we're formulating a bitters elixir for our PhytoSapiens membership, and we came up with a formula that has a small amount of wormwood in it as the high clear bitter. That's what I call it. So we went to our tinctures cabinet and discovered that we had run out of wormwood tincture. But fortunately, it's growing in the garden. So Kat harvested some fresh wormwood that we're going to tincture. Yeah, we've got some fresh wormwood. It was just so aromatic. It's crazy aromatic. I know. Smell that. Here. Ah, makes my brain dance. Yo. The topic is sesquiterpene lactones. Yeah. And wormwood is really rich in very potent sesquiterpene lactones. Those are the bitter principles. So we decided maybe, what are we using, about 10%, what, 5 or 10%?
It's 10 parts of the 10% formula.
Yeah, you don't want to overwhelm your bitters formula with too much wormwood. That might even be high. We'll see how.
We'll see. We're bringing a small amount, so just in case it doesn't turn out good, we won't have too much of it.
Wormwood, Artemisia absinthium, was an infamous part of absinthe, also known as the green fairy. And there is a constituent in the aromatics, an aromatic constituent in the essential oils called thuone. There's alpha thuone and beta thuone. And some people are like, oh, it's psychoactive, it's neuroactive. And if you just randomly look it up, you'll see it's like, oh, it can cause convulsions, sounds really scary. The actual concentration of thuone in what we're making is extremely low. It's below even regulatory limits. If someone is super sensitive, they have epilepsy, they're easily triggered by essential oils, you might want to just avoid the wormwood just to be extra safe. But for most folks, this is not a very concentrated amount of thuone that we're developing here. So for most folks, it's not an issue. So you want to walk us through the process here?
Yes. So I have all of the equipment laid out here, and we've got vodka spray just to clean the whole area in general and all the equipment before we get started. We have a weigh boat here that I have calibrated, and I have my bowl of Artemisia absinthium. This is the fresh plant, and I also have our menstruum here. So we've got our 95% ethanol, as well as our filtered water. And we're using Paonia, Colorado filtered water.
Really good water.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Spring water from the mountains.
We've got our vitamix here. And I also have a little setup where we've got our collection beaker vessel so that we can measure our yield that we get. I also have a potato ricer. So once we're done, we're going to use this wort bag here, put the herbal material into this, put it into the potato ricer. Then we're going to close the potato ricer. And I also have a secondary form of filtration with a metal coffee filter so that we just get the little bits that are still in the extract. And this is a handy dandy little stand that I just pulled from our lab. So
got way in an antique store somewhere. It's like part of something.
Yeah. Also, we have a spatula here so we can clear out the vitamix. It will help us during this process when we are pouring the blended wormwood into our wort bag to just get every little last bit of it. And then for the end, we've got a Boston round to protect it from UV.
Right.
And this is where we're going to collect and store our wormwood tincture. We're going to make 4 ounces of this tincture. It's a 1 to 2, 60% today for our herbal apothecary storage. We've also got a little funnel so that we don't drop any bit of this important medicine. I've also made our label in advance so that we could just throw it on, cap it up, and enjoy.
Right. So this is a little different than making a dried herb tincture. Right. And explain to them about that and why we're using the Vitamix.
Yes. With fresh herbs, we've got water content within the matrix. We have to consider this when doing our calculations so that we have something that represents the 1 to 2 instead of something that's diluted
by the water coming
out of the herb. Yeah. Whereas with the dry herb, we're just making our menstruum without considering the water that's in the matrix of the plant, of the fresh plant.
Right. So if we were doing this with a dried herb, we just straight up make a 60% menstruum it would be simple. But since it's a fresh herb, water is going to come out of the herb. We have to work that into how we make the menstruum because water is going to add itself to whatever we're putting together here.
Yes. And there is a way that you can determine the amount of water. You're basically taking the weight of your fresh herb, then drying it, and then taking the weight again. Then you're going to calculate to see how much water was in that plant. And then we have a whole calculation system you can have access to. We want to calculate the final menstruum to be 60% ethanol. And we have calculated that this is 70% of water with the fresh herb. So we've done calculations to make sure that our final ethanol percentage is 60%.
Yeah. So it's a bit more involved than making a dry herb tincture for sure. And we have worksheets. We also have a programmed Excel calculator that does this for you, which is really fun, especially if you make a lot of fresh herb tinctures. Michael Moore did fresh herb tinctures, and he was just like 95% ethanol. And that was pretty close. I mean, you get pretty close by doing that. There's nothing wrong with doing it that way. It's like good enough for most purposes. But if you really want to dial in that I'm ending up with 60%, then these extra calculations are worth doing.
Yes.
Yeah, fresh herbs. Okay, what's our process? You did the calculations, you measured out the amount of 95% ethanol, which by the way has 5% water in it, so that gets worked in too. And you measured out the amount of actual water we need to add to the menstruum, and you also figured out how much water the plant is adding to the menstruum.
Correct. Yes. Right now, I've weighed our fresh herb, and the next step that we're going to do right now is I've got these beakers with just a little over what I've estimated that I need to have it, and I'm going to use graduated cylinders to make sure I get that milliliter perfect. So with the 95% ethanol, I'm going to add in this cylinder 102.3 milliliters. So I have a graduated cylinder with 100 milliliters, and this one's got 20 milliliters. So I'm going to pour from my mother beaker to get the right 102.3 milliliters of the 95% ethanol portion of our menstruum. I'll do that now.
And if we had a larger, very accurate graduated cylinder, we could measure it all in one, but she's dividing it up to just get it more precise. The glass ones, and the reason we're using graduated cylinders over beakers is they're a lot more accurate. So whenever we're doing tincture calculations, we always pull out the graduated cylinders. And glass, I prefer it to plastic. Again, they tend to be more precise and more accurate. Did you know you can get different grades of graduated cylinders? You can get like A grade and B grade. If you want to get really perfect, go for the A grade. Because it's surprising if you compare different ones to each other, you can see there can be considerable differences. So
I'm also using a pipette to creep up on the 100 milliliter mark on our graduated cylinder just for this portion.
And while you're measuring the menstruum and putting it together, let me say why we're using the Vitamix to do this. You don't have to, but you can make a really good tincture after you do all your preparations and stuff in less than an hour. And sometimes I call it instant tincturing in the Vitamix. And it works really, really well with fresh herbs, but you can also do it with dried herbs. There's no reason they have to be fresh. So Vitamix has really high RPMs on those blades. It's ultimate agitation, and it just grinds the fresh herb right inside the menstruum. We're going to put them both in there together, and it polarizes it. So it also maximizes surface area of your plant material, which means you're going to get a more thorough extraction. And it warms it up a little bit too. And I think we might even try to take the temperature of it. People ask me, how long do I do it for? And I say, until the outside of the vessel feels like a hot spring.
If you've been to a hot spring,
if you've been to a hot spring, you gotta know that feeling.
104 to 150. How much? 115?
110 is pretty hot.
115, I would die.
It doesn't have to be exactly precise. I don't think I could do that. It's warmer inside the vessel, so we're gonna attempt to remember to dip a thermometer in there as soon as we're done and see See how warm it actually got. Vitamix, my friend in the lab, it pulverizes, it increases surface area, it's super high agitation. And when you make a fresh herb tincture this way, you get a really, really good strong tincture. If you just do it soaking it in a jar with fresh herbs, I think that's one of the less efficient ways. And you'll get a less concentrated product. It's better with dried herbs. Dried herb, just simple maceration in a jar works better, I think, than fresh herb, simple maceration in a jar. I learned this from somebody in an analysis lab. They had a water jacket cooled lab blender, and they're like, oh yeah, 15 minutes, you get absolutely everything out of the plant. I'm like, 15 minutes, you could tincture like that. So we had it measured out here.
We've got everything measured out. So we're going to put the menstruum in the Vitamix first. And we'll start with the ethanol. This is the 100 milliliters of 95% ethanol.
I'll hold that to drip while you get the other one.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Ethanol likes to cling to glass. So, if you don't do this, you'll look at it later like, well, there's half a mil in there still.
Okay.
200.
Here, there you go. Okay. All right, and I will put the water portion. Okay, so now we have our menstruum in the Vitamix.
The side.
Setting aside. Next step is to put our fresh herb into the Vitamix.
It's really funny. It looks like there's not very much menstruum,
right?
And it looks like there's a lot of herb, and that's another reason we do it in the Vitamix, because it just gets it all ground in there together. So
yeah,
that would be impractical to just do this in a jar.
I think so.
Yeah, because it's fluffy and large.
It is fluffy. So we're just going to add a small amount and then pulse we'll just add a small amount, pulse.
I've got an idea.
Okay,
let's put this lid on tight. Since this is an aromatic herb, we want to minimize the evaporation, the aromatics. And of course, we want to keep those ethanol fumes in there too. So I'm going to take advantage of the little hole in the top here.
Okie doke.
All right.
Okay, I'll fill the root a little bit. All right, so we'll give it a few.
Yeah, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Well, look at the color. No wonder they call it the green fairy. Wow.
Ooh, we're going to get high.
All right.
Remember that time we made fresh wormwood tincture?
Ooh, and then we just got one more.
Okay, and the last little bit. Wow, this color. Look at it. It's like glowing green.
It is. It's like a chartreuse green.
Oh my goodness. How about that? I know why they call it the green fairy now.
Yes.
Oh, a little bit of aromatics and ethanol fumes coming out there. And we didn't let it go long enough. It's not quite warm. Let's give it a little more.
Okay. I wonder if we should use the spatula to push it.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Because let me have that. Do not breathe. Yeah. This is one of those, some herbs absorb more menstruum than others. We're going to see how this turns out. This one seems to have really soaked up a lot. When we squeeze it, we're going to get something amazing. We just might not get as much volume as we wanted. So, in the future, we might think about doing this 1 to 3 or 1 to 2.5. Okay. Fling those green bits. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to stop now because it's pretty well pulverized. Yeah. It's warm.
Okay.
So good enough. Yeah, it's fabulous. Look at, I'm getting it all over. Look at that green mush. It's not even glowing as much on camera as it is in real life. I think it's pretty dramatic. Okay, so here we have a thoroughly pulverized in the menstruum, fresh Artemisia absinthium. No, we're not going to drink it after dinner tonight. No. Okay, that will be a bit much.
Sure would. Okay, so I've set up this bag into our potato ricer, and we can work together. Maybe I can use this and hold that as we need more arms.
We do. Where's the octopus?
Okay. Okay, you got this?
I'll keep this from chipping. Maybe I'll grab this. Okay. This is a make-do sort of setup here, but it's really cool because if we're making a large volume of this, we would do this in the tincture press. But just for a little bit, like we're making, it's not really worth it. It's a lot of effort and a lot of cleanup. So this is if you have a smaller volume of tincture to press out. This is one of the best things that I found. I got mine again in an antique store. You can buy new ones. They're not as good as the older ones. So it's pretty robust. But the thing with this is you need to have some arm muscles to work it because it's like a lever. But it works really great. Definitely have the bag in it. One time I was like, yay, I threw it right in the basket and I ended up squirting tincture and tincture mush everywhere.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was a mess.
That'll affect the yield.
Yeah, I'll say. It affected my patience for sure. And then I was like, well, let's not do that again. But that's the beauty of experimentation. You learn what not to do as well as what to do.
Yeah, keep good lab notes.
Exactly. Oh, I sure to use the wort bag. These wort bags, you can get them at brewing supply stores, but people use different things in here. And if you had a really nice, clean cotton sock in there, or new cotton sock that was really you could use that. So the idea is keep that plant material from squirting out little holes once you start putting pressure on it. It's kind of hard to get stuff out of a Vitamix.
It is.
There should be an easier way.
Well, and you can also use a smaller or a more narrow spatula too. I'm using a pretty thick one, so we're going to find a small one to get the rest of this.
There you go. You've got most of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm tempted to do? I'm tempted to take the squirt bottle and rinse the rest out, but that would be a mistake because then we would be using more menstruum than we calculated for. But that would be a good way to get the rest of the bits out. True. We didn't care about that.
Look at that green coming out.
Oh, it's the green. The color. Unbelievable.
Whoa.
Here. Let's do the screen magic. That is so magical. Okay, we'll give you a close up here in a second. Oh my gosh. I'll twist this a wee bit. And then put this under there.
Thank you. Okay.
Of course, you don't want to push down. Oh, I have never seen a color like that. That's not just chartreuse. It's glowing emerald chartreuse. Look at it.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's
beautiful.
I feel like a real herbalist now. Like, this borders on magical, alchemical, fairy stuff.
Awesome.
Honey, it's phytochemistry. Ah. Oh. Get it, girl. That's outrageous. It makes me want to make a large amount and use the big tincture press. And then just, I don't know what I would do with it.
I gotta give my muscles a break. Let's try it this way.
Oh, I think you mansized it dry, girl. Oh,
I think so. There's still some in there, but I'm not able to get it out. Okay.
Couldn't see my coolest color. Look at this. This is outrageous. This is amazing. I don't have enough adjectives. Like, somebody give me more adjectives.
It looks like an emerald chlorophyll, emerald, like a Wizard of Oz sort of thing.
It's definitely here.
Wow.
Let's see how much we got.
Let's see.
It looks like we got a bit under than expectations, but that often happens with fresh herbs and with hand squeezing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we weren't able to get all that water back out. So functionally, this is going to be a little higher than 60%, right? Do 60% or 70?
It's 60%.
Yeah. So it's going to be a little higher because there's not as much water that we were able to get out of the herb with our small batch, shorter run, and also with hand squeezing. We got really close to 100 mils, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Dare we taste it?
Let's do it.
Let's do. I think I'll go with a drop first. I like, look how powerful this is, just color-wise and aromatically. Wow, amazing. Whoa.
Did you take one drop?
I took a tiny drop, but
okay.
ho, ho, ho.
Whoa. That's bitter.
This is so bitter. That's so bitter.
Good though.
And it's so bitter. And the bitter keeps developing too. Ooh, you brave. It keeps developing. Like at first it's bitter, but it's a little sweet. And then like the bitter kind of comes forth. Oh yeah, out from under the sweet and gets even more bitter.
Then it kind of goes, yeah, it's like not as bitter, then bitter hits, and then I get
There's the waves. There's the waves. I know, right? And it finishes a kind of less bitter, and it feels warm too, which is interesting because most bitters are cooling. Yes, you know, and this has mixed energetics. It's got mixed temperature because the bitter, you feel it. The bitter is cooling, but the aromatics are really warming, and it's making my face warm. It's very ascending energy.
My tongue is tingling a little bit.
Maybe I'll take one more drop.
Go for it.
Or two. That is bizarre in a good way. This is weird, but I got this strange taste sensation that reminded me of the laundromat.
Oh, weird.
Isn't that
I
like
can see that.
something about the way a dryer smells? Or like there's some, don't ask. I have no idea what that is, but it was like this sort of almost antiseptic, slightly funky antiseptic, clean, hot smell.
Oh, I see what you're
Do
saying.
you know what I mean? Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Right. Wow, that color is amazing.
Wait a minute. Are those fairies out there?
Oh, I do see.
Check it.
Let's go say hi to him.
Maybe we should bottle and label this first.
Okay.
Okay. That is an amazing tincture. I agree. And, you know, it's been hot and dry. And I think when herbs like wormwood are in a hotter and drier phase of the climate, I think it really brings that aromatic intensity out also.
Yum.
We should have made more.
Yeah.
Can you imagine one drop of this in a mocktail?
Oh, yeah.
Just one drop. Or in some sparkling water?
Mm-hmm.
We've got to do a few experiments with this, but it's good. We got plenty.
Yes.
Yay. Thank you, Artemisia, for teaching about glowing emerald green. Awesomeness. I feel an effect on my brain. I feel like a little cognitive fun lift from just a little bit of like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
You know, and not super druggy or anything.
No, it doesn't seem super druggy. And also, I feel just relaxed. I think it's that bitters that's working on the central nervous system.
And you know what? In the aromatics, it contains a constituent called myrcene, which myrcene is a very relaxing, almost sedative monoterpene. So I bet some of that's coming through as well.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's not just the
Right.
yeah, it's all essential oils are complex. They have a lot of different constituents.
Okay, let's
What
put the
did we
label
just
on.
do?
We made magic. I mean, with science.
Oh, that's what science could do. Science could make magic. I love it. Sting. There it is. Fresh Artemisia absinthium tincture.
All right.
With our friend, the Vitamix.
Yay.
Yay.